This is exactly what Mao did to start the Cultural Revolution. He started the Cultural Revolution on the university campuses, and he started it with students just like this on the same types of riots. Now you see him taking over buildings, and these administrations are crumbling. And it's obvious now it's more than about Israel. It's more than about the Jews. This is about the Judeo-Christian West and a full-on assault by a combination of Marxist anti-Westerners and Sharia supremacists.
You've got Colombia burning down. It is clearly a communist, Antifa, organized leftist attack on America, on America, the Republic of America. This is not an organic movement. It's about destroying America from within. And it's the same people, it's the henchmen for the people that are bringing these ridiculous trials, these ridiculous indictments against President Trump. And that's why you have these folks out here that are out here in support of President Trump. They see it, America sees it, and the folks that I was with in Romania this weekend, they see it. It's all connected.
And I've spoken with some of them. I'm going to be careful, but among these white, woke, pampered, elitist, I'm not supposed to use that word, let's say children from wealthy families that decide, as Dr. Brzezinski said so many years ago, that they're going to play radical for a weekend and then go home to mommy and daddy's mansion. There's a complete ignorance about the complexities of this issue.
We came from a communist country. We don't want America to become communist country. And this is a political persecution to the Chinese American. We know immediately something is wrong. That's why we came.
Say is that we absolutely must take our country back. And look at this crowd of people, a diverse group of people, but what ties us all together is our love of country. And we have so many people here that escaped from communist countries. I'm a descendant of slaves. My people fought so hard. They fought in World War II, even when they had no more rights. My father was a drill instructor in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean War era. I have to stand up for my country. This is a beautiful and great country, and we have to stand up and save it right now.
All right, yeah.
Go for America.
Let's go.
We must. We must. Yes.
Amen.
Hey, I came from Vietnam. I feel like I'm backed into it now. With Biden, we got to get rid of him. We can't turn it to communism. Why is this happening? This is a scary country right now, and it used to be so great.
Tanya, the crowd outside, very diverse. Most of them have come from communist countries, or their parents came from communist countries. And right now they fear that the United States is slipping into Marxism that their parents were free from. You come from a country that has had a very rough history. What are your thoughts on this?
As I was watching the video, I got chills. Just like you mentioned, they come from different countries trying to escape the communism. And what they're witnessing right now in U.S., it's like a flashback. They're facing the regime that they were trying to escape, myself included. And watching the video from campuses, I had to pinch myself. It's hard to believe that it's actually America, the country that so many immigrants were hoping to not see, and it breaks my heart to see that the campuses, and of course they're going for the young crowd, they're going for the students, they're going for the most volatile crowd, and seeing all this happening truly breaks my heart for America, for the American people, and for everybody who believes in our nation.
Out the way! Out the way!
People need to know this has happened before. They tried here in Spain and they were stopped. They did this in Russia and they succeeded. It's the same exact thing. It's got different names. It's got different sounds. It might look a little different, but this is the same type of communist revolution, communist uprising that we have seen take over place after place around the world for 250 years. That's why we're here in Spain learning about the Spanish Civil War and the people, by the way, who fought and defeated communism. We were over at the Valley of the Fallen earlier today, just north of Madrid, with the largest cross in the world, with a mass grave of 30,000 who fought and died on both sides. They're buried. And Steve, what it says as you walk through, it says, for God and for country. For God and for country.
This is very reminiscent, almost moment by moment and beat by beat, of how Mao started the Cultural Revolution. He started in the universities, and he started with the students. Talk to me about it.
Steve, when Chairman Mao went to the Cultural Revolution, people have to understand that that was a revolution against his own party. It was against his own leaders. It was a purging that started with the students because he couldn't trust the party anymore. They wanted to throw him out and drag his body through the streets after the Great Leap Forward killed 50 million Chinamen in the massive famines that took place. And so Mao said, fine, I won't deal with the party. He went to the youth, he went to the radicals, and he radicalized them harder and faster than ever had done before in China, really anywhere on the planet. You had these kids rising up, and they were given full authorization by Mao with the backing of the state power, the same kind of state power that has physically removed Donald Trump from the campaign trail. He's not campaigning right now because state force has put him in that courtroom, and state force might put him in jail. What did Chairman Mao do? He went to the kids and said, you kids are allowed to do whatever you want. Steve, what was the first thing they started doing? They started murdering their teachers. They started murdering their principals. Some of them even went after their own parents. If you had too much money, if you were a small business owner, if you were, they called it the petty bourgeoisie, this type of things. If you were a farmer with too much land and too many workers, guess what? You were denounced, you were blacklisted, and eventually you were beaten to death inside of a soccer stadium filled with thousands of people, by the way, cheering and applauding. And this went on for 10 years all across the entire country. Every single school, every single institution was turned completely upside down, and the blood that was running through the streets would rival the Yangtze River itself. The only way they stopped it was because it got so crazy that Chairman Mao had to call the military in against his own revolutionaries and send them all out to the countryside. That's how bad it gets when you let loose the radicals and let loose the crazy like the Democrats are doing right now.
Tanya, what warning, you know about what the Bolsheviks have done in your own country. You also speak perfect Mandarin. You've been in China you were in China for many years. You've seen the Cultural Revolution. What warning do you have to the American people about what's really going on here?
You see, I've seen it happen with my own eyes. It made me leave the country where I was born in order to seek a better life, life with opportunities. And I've seen they come promising you all the riches in the world. They say, we're gonna divide everything evenly. You're gonna get your share. And in the end, the Bolsheviks, they were in charge of all the lands, of all the production enterprises. You are there to fulfill their purpose. You will be working on their demand. And in the end, you will own even less than you did prior to the revolution. So I highly encourage everybody to look into history and learn from it, because it truly does repeat itself. And one of my biggest prayers is to keep America safe and free from the communism regime that is so fastly approaching and covering just about every state now.
Imagine what would happen if those people were put in charge of a state apparatus, if those people had police forces and militaries working for them. You have no idea how bad it could get. But this has happened before, and it will happen again.
Something I saw at Harvard was a dean, someone who had the title dean, was busy feeding, passing food, burritos, into protesters who'd occupied one of our university buildings. And our administration did nothing about that. And now they're surprised that protests have grown and mushroomed. So I think there's a real question about accountability.
Yeah, the media is telling us that President Trump is the biggest racist, xenophobe, bigot, all of these things. What is your message? Why do you support him? And what is your message to the mainstream media that says that?
He is not a racist. Look at the crowd out here. Look at the various colors of the people that are here. They're here in support. It's not in protest, but in support. We're protesting the travesty that's happening in that courtroom over there. The tragedies that happened to him and every other citizen of this great United States.